Hey, how's it going? This is take 2. Please look at my signs. Oops, that's not a very good view. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay, so, doing things in reverse order, kind of, today. So instead of, well, let me just start. I pulled 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. Fire Ant, which as you can see has the gotta hold it the right direction, the triangle that has no markings on it facing upward. I guess all the triangles are facing upward in this deck. Anyway, that indicates the fire element along with the fire ant part. And the other card I pulled from it was turtle. And oh, I guess they're not all facing upward. But you'd think I'd notice what my cards are doing. Anyway, yeah, so now the triangle is tipped down. And that indicates the water element in this deck. I'm sorry, I was just sort of noticing the pattern of the shell on this turtle, which not unusual. It looks like a turtle shell, but what I was noticing was the grid pattern of the green part. For over the summer, I was seeing hexagons. I talked about it a lot. Hexagons and pentagons, just in a grid field, you know, just like those shapes, just like a whole, like, imagine chicken wire in front of you, like all around everywhere you looked. That was what it was like. And I didn't know what the heck it meant. And then like about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I was watching Kalina Malnar, and she was saying that the grid pattern was shoot, I can't remember what she said now, but she does DNA activations and she works with the Earth grid and a lot of other things. She's very turned on in her abilities, like since she was a child, and so it had like some spiritual significance. If I have a hard time going back and finding stuff because it gets buried in the stuff that I watch after it. But I can go to her channel actually, so I will try to find what she was saying about the grid pattern. But one thing I'll say about it is it appears in a lot of places, like on a turtle back or on a beehive. It's kind of like this universal sort of framework, like chicken wire. But it's like it's math, and pretty much everything, believe it or not, is composed of math. I'm laughing because I know what my abilities are in math, and without help, they're not very much. So it's just funny to me that I have played a role in creating all of this world that I live in with my people of my world. And I'm not that great at mathing. At least not consciously. So, I got impressions like right away, like I said, but I'm gonna go ahead and read what it says about our friend the fire ant. Where's my bookmark? It's a twist tie. Okay. Fire ant. Aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. So funny. Where I was gonna go, I'll get there. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or a situation. Okay, so these cards I pulled from my own personal pull. You might find yourself stewing on a situation. That is the Ten of Swords. And that is defeatist thinking. It will take you down. And, well, in the context of the rest of the cards in that pull, ruin a bunch of good stuff. So it's a warning. Stay away from it. Don't do it. Who does it help? No one. Dwelling on past stuff, working over old grudges. I know that when something happens at first, that kind of thing can feel really good, but like you can't like stay in that forever. And it's not a good idea to drag it around behind you in your emotional suitcase and dig it up. And it's like, but don't you remember that time, it's like that thing that you will hear a lot of men say, particularly in a comedic platform. The woman remembers everything, but only the things you did wrong. So, yeah, let's stay away from that. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Oh, sorry. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. All the stuff I said. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. When in balance, thoughtful, disciplined. When out of balance, argues, excess heat, gossips. Have you ever seen ants fight? It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's to the death. They're like snipping off each other's limbs and things. Anyway, when out of balance, argues, excessive heat, gossips. To bring into balance, excessive heat. Is that like, I'm getting that it's when you fly off the handle for like almost no reason. Shut up, I know I do it all the time. I'm working on it. I'm aware of it. I mean, that's a start. It's getting better. To bring it to balance, solo time, walks at night. Yeah, maybe when it warms up. I ain't going out there when it's cold and damp. Not with these old bones. So, yeah. When I pulled this, I immediately thought of ants in water going to save each other because they will form an ant raft. They will like link their limbs and become a platform of themselves to both float and ferry other ants to across the water, basically. So, to me, in the center there, in that hot spot that all of the ants are converging upon, a lot of times I'll look at that and think it's like a stinging bite, but I think right now it's just, the colors are just indicating like, caution, there's danger, possible danger there, and it's like a call for help. I don't want to say siren, I don't think, although we do use sirens in times of emergency to alert people. So I don't know that it's a siren. I think it's just because I know this about ants, so it's probably just like adding on stuff that I'm consciously adding, which I don't mean to be doing, but I think they they respond to each other they communicate through smell, pheromones. So the light is an alarm, like, hey, it stinks, we need some help over here. And further, what I got was that, again, going back to the American problem with the MAGA people and the just virulent conservative right. Virulent, is that the word I want to use? Sure, but I want more like pernicious, mean, and nasty. I mean, they got like a narrow focus on what they want, and what they want is for other people to do what they want, and it don't go over well, I don't think, anywhere. It really doesn't go over well here. We're in America, the United States, where we're independent, stupid, aggressive, bombastic, and we don't like to be told no. That's for sure. And we don't like to be told we're wrong. We just don't even want to hear it. So, that in mind, all of those ants converging on that center of alarm, no one's gonna try and like disabuse them of their notions or stop them from what they're doing unless it's dangerous and harmful to other people. They're converging upon that center because they need our help and support rather than what we've been giving them, which is scorn and ridicule. And it goes both ways, of course, but I feel like, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, that while these people that are into these things that I am not, like MAGA and right-wing conservatism, they're still my countrymen. They're still fellow humans. And I care actually less about them being my countrymen than I do about the human part, because I've gone into this before, but I don't really like getting behind labels and teams and parties and flags and things and using that as a reason to be better than, to be against, to be separate. Like, screw that. Do you see these ants wearing different uniforms? No, they are uniform. So anyway, I think we finally, those of us who are not at the center here, have to do better ourselves at realizing, like, what they feel and what they believe. Seriously, unless it's literally hurting anyone, it's not wrong. They're allowed. Remember free speech? We can also have free thought. Please, well, no, not please try and stop me, but seriously, try and stop any of us from thinking. So, rather than doing what we've been doing, fighting with them, calling them dumb, and, like, disparaging them constantly, like, can somebody amongst us rise above all of that and realize that it's not helping any of us? It's just creating more fights. And we are not at the stage where a fight starts and the other party says, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to participate. We're all still pretty much like aggressive, ready to jump on each other over the least thing. So, like, it's not a great look. It's not a great act. These ants, though, the black ones, I believe are coming to form an emotional raft to support and care for these people and ferry them wherever they are wanting to go within reason. But we'll help, and we should, because I feel like they need it. They seem to be screaming for it. They have a lot of complaints. They have a lot of grievances. So maybe we should try to address them. That's what I got from that. So the turtle card, I'm in water again. These guys were not, they're not in water, I don't think. But that's where they are in my head, I guess, because it's all emotional. So I'm going to read. I also got something from the turtle, so I'm going to read first from the book. Can I just say that a twist tie does not make a very good bookmark? Oh, well, yeah, I guess it fell out. There's not one in here. That's why it doesn't. Never mind. Reading. Turtle. Ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. That sounds like a bridge, a go-between, a liaison. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all other books and begin to tell our own true tale. Let's not prevent them from telling their true tale. Let's not ban the book of their stories as they would do to other people. Let's show them it doesn't have to be that way. It can be all of the things. None of them have to be taken away. You just have to not participate and not join in if you don't like it. It's not necessary to relieve other people of stuff because it offends you. That's not right and it's not fair. You know, that's my opinion, but I really think it's true. If you're inhibiting someone else in any way, what gives you the right? You know, who are you? This is literally, if you're not somebody's parent or boss, and you only have limited constraints on a person's time as a boss, and for me, as a child of parents, also limited as to how much restrictions I'm going to accept. Although parents have been long gone, so this is not a new thing for me. Anyway, the most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, slows down to a halt. I bet it turtles, just pulls in all the external soft stuff into the shell, which, wow, built in thick skin. I'm still trying to formulate one. When out of balance, slows down to a halt. To bring into balance, an adventure. Well, for a turtle, that must not be too hard to find. All you gotta do is drift on the flow of the water. So the turtle has the capacity to go deep underwater, like as a metaphor for the subconscious, and it's below the current, kind of, so you can it can go there and observe its surroundings and take what it needs out of the pull of the current, at its leisure. And so that's how it spends its life. And then, it comes up for air, and it comes up for, whatever, I don't know what a turtle reason would be for coming up out of the water to go on the land. It seems like they could get everything they needed if they stayed in the water, but sometimes they do. Turtle logic can't explain it. But they do have that thick skin and that capacity to basically pull themselves away from external injury or attacks, which in a metaphor could be having having the thick skin, having grown a thick skin, having needed to grow one, a process, because, you know, a turtle is not born, turtles are long-lived creatures, so they're not born like 100 years old. They age just like everybody and everything else. And so they too have to learn stuff, but they are born with a shell. So that must be nice. I mean, I wish I could retract from stuff a lot. I mean, I do, but in my house or whatever, you know. It'd be nice sometimes if you could just literally, like, pull in whatever part is sticking out to be offended or poked or jabbed or burned or so on and so forth. Although it's not like the world is all full danger all the time. I think we know that. I know we like to talk about, like, the world is burning down and the riots and the crime and the blah, blah, blah. Do you know what's happened to me in my life? Nothing. None of that. And you know what? A bunch of people I know, also none of that. It is going to happen to some people. It's in their script. It's part of their life plan to have that experience. To have it with all of the people that you would have the experience with. The perpetrator, the police, the family, the counselors, the institutions, the financial, like whatever it is that you're dealing with. You're going to be dealing with people. They're all going to have a thing that is going to in some way affect you. Sometimes it's a business thing where it's pretty intricate with forms and meetings and stuff like that, you know, where you have to make appearances and such, whatever. But and now I lost the track of what I was saying there. But under those circumstances, there are some slings and arrows. It would be good to be able to just have the ready, the thick skin at the ready. Sorry, spacing out. But yeah, it's not like all, I don't know, like, actually, I think I must have, like, some sort of negative associations with turtles that are not my own. Like, it, definitely the tortoise and the hare have something to do with it. But that's like a young person, old person thing, which is almost like the fire ants that I talked about. Young and old, I guess, in the sense of, like, the level of consciousness. And by that I mean the level of where you're in a helping posture, or the raising hell posture in the middle. I would say that it's pretty red hot and excitable in the middle, but as you sort of move away from the center there, you can see that the red ember is cooling down to yellow, and to me that just indicates cooler minds. And so, you know, the turtle, I don't know that I think they're kind of solitary creatures, but I know that animals in the wild are not ignorant of each other. They're, like, pretty aware of each other. And I just wonder, how do they impart wisdom to each other? I wonder if they have the sense that because a turtle has lived a long time and has seen a lot, they might have some perspective, more so than, like, the arrogant, aggressive young bunny that just wants to burn rubber and also, like, burn out. Like, marathon, not a sprint. That's life. That's the race with the hare and the tortoise. I guess that's why it's a fable, huh? Because you can reflect upon life with it. Okay, so enough of that. Oh, wait, I pulled this out and I didn't even trim anything. Okay, so I also pulled 3 cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And they are Garden of Venus, number 25. It's like a very pleasant place, nice place to be. Almost like a place you'd retire to once you get older and wiser. The subtitle is Rest and Renewal. And it's the number 25 that breaks down to 7. Adds down? Sure. And the second card I pulled was number 59, Wailing Tree. And the subtitle is Reconciliations. And the third card I pulled from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck was Eyes of the Eagle. And the subtitle is Rising Above the Fray. Yes, Rising Above the Fray. I don't know if this imparts rising, but it's definitely removed from the fray at the center there. So, I did not pull the card for this, or the guidebook for this, because what I'm getting is that it's representing where we could be. Actually, where we are, we just are not open to it, kind of. I mean, it's sort of like Bigfoot. Like, people have seen glimpses of a Sasquatch in the forest and then have it just disappear, and you're like, where the hell did the 9-foot hairy man go? And you know, you're in the forest, right? There's no McDonald's restroom to duck into. Where did it go? They're interdimensional travelers. I'm watching a show. Well, actually, I just did a different video on a show from the CW that it's not on anymore, but it was called OA, and I would watch it if you want to take a suggestion from me. It is a good show for a lot of reasons. Like, the premise is good and interesting, the interactions with the people while all of this crazy bizarre stuff is happening. It's just like life, you know, like crazy shit will be happening. Your life can be blown up. It can just be bizarre and completely unexpected, like beyond the realm of your normal knowledge. And yet, you still gotta, like, get up and go to work. You still got a baby crying to be fed in the next room. You still got dogs scratching at the door to go out and pee or to come in and eat. Like, your life still goes on regardless of stuff blowing up. So, maybe it's more like a place in your mind than an actual physical location, because it's a state of mind that you can go back to, that you can bring yourself to if you rise above the fray, be the observer rather than the person in the middle of the pit throwing bows and slinging arrows with their tongues. So it's like the goal, and it's always there, and it's always there to go back to at any time. It's up to us, you know. I mean, we're the only deterrent, really, because if something comes along that could be a deterrent, we don't have to let that be the case. We don't have to let ourselves be bothered by it. We don't have to let ourselves get caught up in it. I mean, I think it often takes us a really long time to gain that kind of wisdom, to have the sense to sink to the bottom or rise above the fray, but to just, okay, it's there, it's happening, acknowledged, let it go. You don't have to, like, totally join in and take part. Okay, enough bragging about that. Okay, now my papers got all mixed up. So then the next card I pulled after that was this card, Wailing Tree, and I was like, geez, that does not look happy, calm, or relaxing. But the subtitle for Wailing Tree is Reconciliations. And if you're going through something with your employer, your family, your best friend, whatever the conflict situation is, whoever the players are involved, to get to the point of reconciliation, you may have to have some fiery conversations. You may have to face some unpleasant truths. But sometimes, when we don't realize these things ourselves, it will become someone's job in a way. Like someone will be guided to help you get to that point, to that realization. Even if it takes prodding in the form of pestering, arguing, whatever it takes. Like we do what needs to be done, and we do actually do a lot for each other without even realizing that we're doing it. So sometimes you have to kind of go through a little hell to get to the heavenly place. I mean, that's kind of like the whole motif of our world. A little bit of strife and struggle will garner you a lot of bit of good and happy and calm and peaceful and joy and love and all of that stuff. And it's all the sweeter after you go through some of this stuff or some of this stuff. So I'm going to read what the guidebook had to say about the Wailing Tree. Wailing Tree, grief and mourning, a time of necessary losses. You gotta do it, gotta go through it. Reconciliations. When you encounter the Wailing Tree on your path, it's an invitation to stay a while and regroup, a place to rest and allow yourself to say goodbye to what no longer serves. You may have been overdoing things, working too hard, or putting too much effort into life with too little reward. Been there, done that. If you've been considering making a change, now's the time to do so. One important thing to consider before you make any changes is that you need to allow yourself to feel disappointment, feel your disappointment, your loss, and mourn what was and what could not be. This is a way to honor your experience, to give yourself time to consider all the gifts in it, to put proper closure on it, to really know what you've learned as you walk away from it and into something new. It's interesting, that sentence. I'm going to read it again if I can find the beginning of it. This is a way to honor your experience, comma, to give yourself time to consider all the gifts in it. Oh, that's a gifts in it, comma, to put proper closure on it, comma, to really know what you've learned as you walk away from it and into something new. So you have just gone through some kind of stuff, some kind of changes, and that thing just said that you go through it, you think about it, you savor the experience, and you're walking the whole time on your way to the next one. The reason why I stop on that is because the subject of time speeding up, yesterday it came up 3 times and I was thinking about it, and it also came up, so that always catches my attention. What started me thinking was yesterday, it was Friday, and it was like, dang, it was just Friday like a minute ago, and I was thinking that time has been speeding up. And when I say has been, I started noticing this in like 2016, that time was speeding up, and it's just gone faster. So it really is like, you gotta like live your life, experience the experience, feel the experience, And while you're doing that, be ready, because you're not even going to have a chance anymore to put it down and rest and think about it. I mean, you can, but that's a whole separate operation. But things are happening so fast now. It's like you barely finish with one experience, or you don't even really finish with it. You're like on to the next one, and you're still kind of in the last one, which is interesting. Like that, I guess it takes some of this, because I think time is not actually speeding up. I like, on a level it is, but really it's our aging process that it makes it feel that way. So but you get older and you learn how to process stuff fast. You learn how to prioritize what and how you're going to feel about an experience. And also comes with time. It's a process. Like, you are not born with the thickest of shells, probably. I know when a turtle is born, there is a vulnerable time for them when their shells are not hard at the beginning of their lives, and I think they molt too. So they have periods where they're super vulnerable, and so you have to develop strategies, because while you are molted and you're like without your shell, without your thick skin, stuff is still happening. It is not waiting for you. You have to learn how to accelerate. I feel like, I'll say me, I don't know what anybody else is going to do, but I feel like I need to accelerate my process of going through the experience so that I'm like prepared to dive into the next one, because I feel like the previous one was to prepare you for the next one, and on and on and on through your whole life. And that's not a bad thing. And so the last card is Eyes of the Eagle, Eagle Eye. And the subtitle is Rising Above the Fray. And it's number 18, which, if you add the 8 and the 1, is a 9. And 9 in terms of tarot, I think of as near completion, like right on the edge. It's almost like you're there. Like the 10 is almost superfluous, and it's a 0, it's a 1 and a 0, so it's almost like you have 2 1s, like 2 starts. I don't know. Like, one is, I don't know what this means. So it's like one is at the top of the clock, and then the other one is also there. I don't even know what that means. I'm going to read from the book. Maybe it'll make sense after that. Eyes of the Eagle. Oh, wait. The 9, right. So, yeah, automatically my mind goes to the 9 of the tarot, which is like near completion of the Fool's Journey, basically. But I feel like it's something else is about this 9. Reading the book. Eyes of the Eagle. Protection, inherent trust, rising above the fray. The Eyes of the Eagle offers you the gift of foresight, the skill of looking ahead to see the unfolding of destiny before it all manifests as reality. The eagle's extraordinary vision allows it to spot the tiny mouse from its lofty perspective as it flies thousands of feet into the atmosphere. In similar fashion, you too can train your keen eye to discern the working of humans. Eyes of the Eagle is an invitation to witness the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, yet react to nothing. I think it takes a long time. It's going to take me a long time because I'm still not there yet. Eyes of the Eagle is an invitation to witness the good. Oh, I already read that. Eyes of the Eagle is an invitation to witness the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, yet react to nothing. Act only to further your noblest calling. The eagle flies above all creatures when it meets obstacles. It simply rises above them. Know that you are protected. You can fly high above the judgment slings and arrows. I did not know that term was going to come up. Sink! And the darts of every form, the darts of envy from others who may not have your great wings and are still arguing with the pigeons over crumbs. Maybe that's a big old crumb they're fighting over. A big orangey red crumb. Well, they're definitely converging on it. Trust that you are ready for whatever fortune has placed before you, even if you feel not yet properly equipped to meet its challenges. Your willingness to say yes to spirit has nothing to do with how well outfitted you are. Hesitating, on the other hand, will suck the air from under your wings and make you lose attitude. Don't lose faith. That is pretty obvious what that is about. Well, it's true. That almost sounds like if you lose faith, it's going to kill you. That's, I don't think, quite how it works. But it could set you back. I'll put it that way, because I know that from experience. I have learned that. If you like pray for something or ask for something, or your intent is to set a course upon something, and then you don't follow through, you don't maintain whatever you're supposed to maintain, you don't take responsibility for whatever it is in this action that is like a means to your end that you want, then it's just all gonna fall apart. Like, you can't build a building and like just leave in the middle of it if you're like a crucial piece of it. So I don't know, that was a weird metaphor, but there you go. Trust that you are ready for whatever fortune is placed before you, even if you feel not yet properly equipped to meet its challenges. Your willingness to say yes to spirit has nothing to do with how well outfitted you are. Hesitating, on the other hand, will suck the air from under your wings and make you lose altitude. So you don't die, but you lose altitude, like you were on your way up and you've had a setback. What did I say? You are called now to trust your heart and your instincts, to move fearlessly and not waver. The time is right, and no harm could come your way if your motives are pure and you act courageously. Yeah, that sounds about right. Mind your business, mind your garden. Should keep you out of trouble, unwanted trouble, right? Ow. So, this whole thing has just been about, I feel like, just supporting each other regardless of what's said, even if they say mean, nasty, and hurtful things to you, even if they do mean and nasty and hurtful things to you. The point is not retaliation, the point is not revenge. Although those things do happen if that's your life path. But for me, what I see along the way is not doing things like that to people is more gooder. Don't hurt each other. Try to be more understanding. I would want understanding. And like I said, I feel like those people are like just a giant cry for help. Like, something's wrong. They're telling us in every possible way. And would you treat your baby that you love the way we do them? Like, oh, stop your crying. Ah, you big whiner. Would you tell your baby? There's like, I'm getting a painful, itchy, burning rash on my butt, and I'm really hungry for that milk stuff, but I can't get it myself. Would you tell your baby, shut up. You'll get it when you grow. No, you wouldn't. And that's how we're treating those people. That's not right. Do you want to be treated like that? I don't want to be treated like that. And if I am treated like that, I know I don't have to take offense. I can actually rise above that. If I can see that someone's hurting and that's why they're acting the way they're acting and lashing out, and I can differentiate that that's the reason why they're acting that way, come on, I can do better. And if you can in the moment, I can. And I think, what the heck else are we here for, right? Thank you and good night.